you there? What podcast is this? Why, sir, this is a whole new pod. Oh, by God, that's my favorite podcast. The spirits did their magic. They did it all in this 2-week period. The ultimate Christmas present is here. A podcast on time for a holiday.
Wow.
All right, and then that's it. That's the end of the podcast. That's the now not in my Ebenezer Scrooge voice. I'm Lucas Melby.
And I'm Jacob Telejohn.
And a happy, as they say in Britain, happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, Harry.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year's.
Yeah, but we're getting this out before any of those have happened, so the name of this movie is The Ultimate Christmas Present. What is more of the ultimate Christmas present than
a whole new episode?
Loading up a phone, loading up a podcast on somebody's phone, slipping underneath the tree? It's this podcast they listen to.
I like that.
Oh my God. And they're like,
I
really wanted a shirt. I really wanted a nice shirt.
A whole new pod merch?
Ooh.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah, we don't even have a great logo for the podcast yet. But what we have here, beyond just random Christmas ad-libbing, we are a podcast all about Disney Channel original movies. We've been watching them all in chronological order. This is the final episode
of the 2000s.
Of
the year 2000.
Of the year 2000 and whatever we want to call the 2010 teens or whatever, because this will be the last episode we'll do this decade, which isn't very impactful because we've only been doing the podcast for a year. But, it's a culmination, and yes, very timely that the show we're doing today, I'm like an old person. Hey, we're going to go to the moving picture show. Mickey Rooney is not in this movie, by the way.
Fortunately not.
But we covered a Christmas movie called The Ultimate Christmas Present. We've had a couple of Halloween DCOMs. Yeah. And looking ahead, I don't know if it's something... I think there'll be more Christmas DCOMs we have, but I don't know if it's quite every year that they'll have them. Definitely not every year, because they're not doing that many DCOMs every year even now.
I mean, there will definitely be more Halloween ones. We know that.
We've got 3 more Halloween Town ones alone to do. We're trying to fit this in to our own holiday schedules and fit into your holiday schedule, so we're going to respect your time. Make this a nice, short, little sweet episode, hopefully. So let's just get right into it.
2 hours later.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The magic of editing. But there's not really too much of like a title sequence here. It's just cut 2 shots of California.
Yeah, like surfers.
It just, I thought it was so funny that aside from a couple of shots where they had like a Santa balloon or something, these could be any shots of California. Yeah. But we have Christmas music playing. I don't know. It was probably Jingle Bells, or I don't exactly remember.
Yeah.
But we see, surfers, people skating. Then we just get a widespread of Los Angeles. And it just looks
dry.
Yeah, it's just desolate looking. Yeah. It looks like a desert. It looks terrible.
Yeah.
And, that's our maybe Minnesotan in us that, hey, we get real Christmases. We get white Christmases. But this time, LA might be getting a white Christmas.
Wow.
And that white Christmas led to the Rodney King riots.
Oh my God.
But yes, we also get the title card along with saying that this is Los Angeles, that this is 3 days till Christmas.
Yeah.
Then we cut to one of our main characters, probably like 3rd or 4th main character, that is Edwin Hadley, who is... At first, I picked him as kind of just an awkward weatherman. Jacob made a very good comparison that he seems to kind of fit into a role of like a Rick Moranis type guy.
Yeah. Dorky and...
Honey, I shrunk my dick.
Wow.
That's how I kind of pegged him as a Rick Moranis character, but he's... As the movie goes along, he's a little less fun. He's
a jerk.
He's kind of a jerk. But at
first, you feel like you should feel bad for him. He's kind of like that dorky dude who's getting kind of picked on or just getting kind of shoved under the bus.
I thought he was just kind of an awkward weatherman who...
Yeah.
He's in LA, so I thought maybe as a meteorologist, he was kind of getting tired of like...
The same old...
In this scene, he's like, there's... No snow on Christmas. No. Big surprise. We're in LA. So I thought maybe he was getting bored with his job. But no, he's just, a boring presenter. And just not a very fun guy. He's not smiling at all. Then we're introduced to our main character, Allie. And this is... Jacob had just mentioned or commented that as we were coming up to record that this wasn't very a typical DCOM with its structure. But the beginning of this movie very much is. It's something right out of Miracle on Lane 2 as far as like, hey, here's this family. We're going to go through the house. We're going to be introduced to the dad who's like a bit of an eccentric. He's making a weird website that
they're
sells
all running around kind of doing
bones.
something busy. Yeah, they're all kind of hectic doing
the
something.
Mom runs a catering business and she's very like by the schedule. She's trying to plan out when they're going to spend time together on Christmas because she's too busy. And then we get good old Joey.
Our Lord and Savior.
Who Jacob recognized immediately. I did not.
Yeah, he actually plays like the elf in a couple of the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies.
He's typecasted as
an
elf Christmas movie character.
Christmas movie, yeah.
Also, we were just pulling up his IMDb real quick. He seemed to have palled around with Tim Allen a lot because he was in Santa Claus 2 and 3. Of course, that is Santa Claus with an E at the end because... It's like a legal clause. Who doesn't want that in their children's movie? Sign a contract after you killed Santa Claus. But he was also in the Shaggy Dog remake starring Tim Allen, and I think we have a quota where we have to mention the Shaggy Dog at least like once every 5 episodes or something.
That sounds about right.
But Joey he's a rotund little brother. He's got some probably like buck teeth. He's got a bowl cut because this is the early 2000s.
Filmed in the late
90s. Literally in
2000s.
the year 2000. We know when, when
yes.
No, it's not in a fictional, it does not say present day, so that it can be applied to any present day. And then he also has, and not to really make fun of this, but he's got some kind of like, I imagine it's not purposeful, but he always talks very wetly or like slurring his words a bit. So, but it kind of comes off as like something you could do to play up you being like a cute little brother. But there also is one scene where I do visibly see him wipe like some spit away from his
he's definitely
mouth.
Slobbering at one point.
Which I am certainly not any person to talk about somebody having too slobbery of a mouth, as people who have probably listened to this podcast sometimes pick up on.
Ooh.
I try to edit around all of the lip smacks
the splash zone
we might have. And then Allie is she's just a girl, really.
A normie.
She's a pretty typical DCOM protagonist, as we'll see in a little bit. And then we're introduced to the other main character, who is Samantha, or Sam for short, who is played by...
Brenda Song.
Is that her actual real name?
I believe so.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was just her Sweet Life of Zack and Cody name. So yes,
I don't think
we'll
so.
See her become a DCOM alumni.
Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior.
We'll see her in the future, and she is in one of probably, I don't know, the top 5 biggest Disney Channel shows in the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah.
So she is Allie's friend, and it's not immediately clear because we never go to Samantha's house, but she seems to live across the street from Allie. But at the same time, her mom's always like driving up
off
to like pick her up or drop her off. And it's like, what is going on? But Allie informs Samantha, because again, this is in the last days leading up to Christmas, that we've been invited to Blake's Christmas party. Oh my God, we're going to become cool.
We're thinking Blake, some like, freshman in high school, just this really cool guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. He's like, this is this cool dude.
Because we're getting it really set up. It's kind of like, why did they even do some of this? Because the concern about like Blake's Christmas party doesn't really come into play. And she's like, oh, we're going to be popular. Our life is made. So we're setting up like they're not cool.
And
that
never
really
matters.
Yeah,
it never matters after like the first like 20 minutes.
They're like, hey, we only have an hour. We need to turn this into like a 70
so,
80 minute
maybe there was
movie.
more that was, but it serves no purpose, this blockade.
Because, all this beginning part feels like so cookie cutter DCOM where like the rest of the movie doesn't really deal with this at all.
After that, it's just
so we see movie. At school, again, keeping with DCOM tropes, that Allie in her class didn't do her homework. Oh, what a slacker. And then she tries to make up a funny story about, I think, Charles Dickens for like a book report. Yeah. But then the class just laughs and they're like, haha, whatever. And then Allie meets up with Samantha in the hall and they're just talking about like, oh, I don't want to do this paper. I got to do it for tomorrow now. And then, we get the big reveal as they're leaving the school that Blake walks up. And Blake, if this was any other DCOM, I don't even know if he would have been a named character. He could have just been the guy who gives the Lawrence brother the Nux in the cafeteria in The Other Me or something. He's just so nondescript.
Yeah.
Bordering
he's
on
a nobody.
Just being dweeby looking.
Yeah.
And again, we're thinking like, he'll be at least DCOM level of cool, whether that's Cody in the 13th year looking or something, which again, it's so funny that is still pretty much the only DCOM where they set out that this character is super cool, and so many others have recognized that that's probably not the most relatable character we need to put out there.
Yeah.
That it's better for our characters, even if it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the movies, to be looked at as losers or underdogs in like their school life. And I know not everybody agrees with at least and I think Jacob was not the hottest on the 13th year, because that still continues to be our number one YouTube video, and also the only one that I think we're getting ratioed a bit, where I think the like to dislike ratio is even at like 5 likes versus 5 dislikes. But I think as time goes along, we probably are going to be ratioed and have fewer likes than dislikes.
Yeah.
So
it is what it is.
The mob is not going to change my opinion about Cody. So we get the big reveal of Blake, and I think his party must be on New Year's Eve, or Christmas Eve, or the 23rd. Yeah. There's some throwaway line from Joey, the little brother's like, my basketball tournament is, and I'm like, who's having a basketball tournament on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? And let me just tell you, Joey does not look like he plays a lot of basketball.
No, he just rides the bench. It's pretty obvious.
He at one point comments that he thinks Allie probably got him a football for Christmas, which is not on brand for Joey. He's the b-ball boy.
Yeah.
He looks like a basketball a bit.
Oh my God.
And then leaving the school, they go on a bike ride. I think Allie had said something like, we're going to go pick up presents, or I don't know.
Why they found themselves out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, it starts to get a bit of a Goonies vibe, where it's just 2 little kids on their bikes in the middle of the woods in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Which, never been to LA, don't know the geography.
I don't know how big of a bike ride they went for.
But they are apparently in the woods somewhere, to the point where they've gotten lost and they don't really know where they are.
Yeah.
And then they find a cabin and they comment about how weird it is for this person to live like so far away from everybody in LA. Like, where are these woods? Like, I know there's some national forests and places, national parks close to LA, but still like outside of LA.
They went for a long ass bike ride.
Yeah.
They lived on the outskirts, and who knows?
So they see this cabin that they've never seen before, and they start to sneak up to it. Again, very Goonies-like.
And you hear a mumbling and a grumbling and a bumbling.
Yeah, they look at the window, they see some old guy banging fucking shit around, and he's got something in his hands that he's not happy with, and he throws through the window.
Perfectly. Chucks it out, goes out, what have you, and it lands straight in like the dumpster.
A perfect throw shot. Through a window into a garbage can, which is right by the girls as they're looking in. And then they get kind of spooked.
Scared, yeah. They maybe think he sees them and he's throwing stuff at them. I don't know. Who knows?
And Sam is wanting to leave. Allie says she's a chicken, which is kind of a thing that recurs in the movie.
Yeah.
Creates a slight bit of tension and disagreement between the two, but the movie's not really long enough or fleshed out for them to really have that third act kind of thing of like, oh, the friends are breaking up. It's kind of a single scene over 3 minutes or something. But Allie wants to see what the old man threw away, and it looks to be some kind of
machine, or I don't know,
like a metallic egg, something Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Eggman would have made in Sonic. Yeah. Allie thinks it's really cool, so she grabs it, throws it in her backpack. But they ride off.
Her friend says, you got to put it back, and she's like, well, it's garbage.
Samantha
and he's like,
it's
not yours. It's not yours. It doesn't, just leave it alone. And then as they're taking off, here comes Santa. He'd went outside to grab something from another ship.
Well, we should say, we hadn't said it was Santa because,
we can cut that out.
It's an audio podcast. No, I'm not saying it's a reveal, because here you see him come out. You see he's a white man, he's a white man.
Cis male.
But he has a white beard and everything, and he sees it missing, and then he does just about like a Home Alone, like turn to the camera, scream, and be like, oh, it's stolen. They're not beating around the bush. I think like within a couple of scenes, we're going to find out this is Santa Claus.
Yeah. He notices that the machine is gone, and he's losing his shit on the way home.
Why is Santa in LA 3 days before Christmas? Well, we'll eventually kind of figure out why, but it's kind of still a weird explanation.
Yeah.
So the girls take the machine, immediately run up to Allie's room, and they're starting to flip around with some of the knobs and buttons on it, and it turns out it's a weather machine. And it starts to create a storm cloud
Or the Storm Cloud first.
That rain's very localized into Allie's room.
And then they like keep turning the buttons and stuff, and the rain starts to get heavier. It's like a downpour. Eventually they touch something that makes it like lightning, and the lightning hits one of the lamps and it shatters onto the floor.
Yeah, and at one point one of them goes, "This is so fierce." And as I'm laughing about them saying fierce, I'm like, what does that even mean? Then Joey opens the door and says, "What? Fierce? I heard fierce." And they're just like, "Oh, Joey, get out of here." And then
it's like, "What is it? Is it my present?"
Yeah, he's a nosy little brother. And
is it a football? He's curious as to what. He's
like, "Did you get me a football or a poster of the Lakers cheerleaders?" Or he might even said Lakers
girls.
Yeah, not even
Lakers girls.
They say Allie's like 14. Joey's got to be like 9. Like, what is a kid like that do?
Oh,
But Joey's is the epitome. He's the apex of what a man is. He loves food. He loves titties.
Yeah.
He loves basketball.
Sports.
At one point, I couldn't tell if it was just because of it being in the house or if this was an actual weather setting on the machine, but it creates an earthquake.
Yeah. There was like, what's that squiggle do? And then they turn it.
Okay, so it was an actual earthquake setting. What the fuck are you?
Why would he make that?
We learn why Santa made the machine, but it has nothing to do with
why are you
other
creating
stuff
natural
besides
disasters?
Snow. Yeah, why would you ever need to make an earthquake, Santa? As the house is shaking, we get to see some of Mom, who is running a catering business, as well as her assistant, who we probably won't talk about very much in the movie, but he keeps showing up, and, it is 2019, and you can probably say this character is kind of problematic. It's not clear, because he's a little flamboyant, has an accent. It's not clear whether he's like an Indian stereotype, because he looks East Asian or so, of the subcontinent area, or if he has like a flamboyant gay accent.
It is tough to tell.
Or maybe some of both.
And he makes multiple occurrences, but kind of at the end of the movie, just kind of fades out again.
It's surprising that he keeps coming, because we'll eventually get to the point in the movie where there's a snowstorm going on, but he's still... Hey, he's committed to the catering job that's operated out of the family's kitchen, and he's always making the drive there. And then eventually they flip onto a different setting that makes it snow.
Yeah.
Again, still just in Allie's room, though.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, sick, fierce." But Sam, again, being the responsible friend, wants to return the machine, take it back to that house or whatever. But Allie's like, "Haha, no, I'm going to make it snow." And so she taps her nose. And then Sam goes, "Cocaine?"
Cocaine drops from her nose.
But no, Sam's like, "We're going to make it a snow day, because then I don't need to do my paper before Christmas."
Not thinking a father who's on a plane.
Oh, yeah, we should mention the dad who is making some website, or he's a software salesman, or I don't know. He had to go on some business trip, so he is gone now. Then we just get a hard cut, no fanfare or anything, to the North Pole. We see the title card, North Pole, same time.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know geographically if that works. Is the North Pole, which doesn't actually exist as like a physical place, but like, would it be in the same time zone as California?
It's the same time as everywhere, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Depending on where you live.
If it's, I guess actually the exact North Pole, that's like science and shit, man. That's not my forte. Whoa. So yes, it is the same time. They're actually saying that to us watching it. It's the same time everywhere in the world. Well, because we'd still have to have technical, time passes there.
Well, it depends how big the North Pole is. What if it just takes up the
it would exist outside of time zones, but still, time would pass as, just the rotation.
It's like daytime there a lot.
I'm just saying time keeps moving even if it doesn't seem to be reflected.
But maybe
in
not.
The light.
It's a magical place. So who knows?
No, there is no...
This is quite controversial.
The North and South Pole, the exact magnetic pole or whatever, is not some time-free zone or anything. That's where I go to live forever. So yeah, outside of her window, she's got a little flower box or something. Yeah. So she has stuck the machine there. But we're talking about the North Pole. So yes, the big reveal that yes, it's the North Pole. Yes, it was Santa Claus in the cabin. But first we see Mrs. Claus, who is like talking on the phone, and then she gets off the phone and calls like her secretary or something. It's just like, all right, send the elves in. And then we get the funny reveal that the elves in this reality
are huge.
They're not small at all. We get a tall white guy, I think his name was Sparky, and then a tall black guy.
Crumpet.
Representative, yes, Crumpet. But it's funny, we were trying to piece this together, but this is not Lord of the Rings. They haven't spent the money to figure out how to frame shots to make people seem bigger than they actually are or anything. So it seems that they just sent out a casting call
big men.
for 7-foot tall guys or something. Yeah. So it was funny though, because the white guy, Sparky, has like a very visible scar on his face. So it makes him look extra scary, already being really big, but their characters are very goofy and childish.
Yeah.
And to add another extra wrinkle to their character quirks is that they're inventors or entrepreneurs.
They pitch ideas of like...
Yeah, they're pitching an idea to Mrs. Claus.
A robotic North Pole that runs on like robots. Like,
I don't know. They're basically
toy making or something.
Let's turn Santa into Amazon.
So so that way the elves aren't making toys, but they can become telemarketers. Yeah, that's what they were pitching.
Which they predicted the future.
Oh,
but they didn't really delve into Santa making toys or anything. But I always think that's so funny in any holiday movie, because what do kids actually want? They want video game systems. They want hoverboards. They want iPads. They want all this branded shit. Well, you're not going to license all those things to put in your movie. So what does Santa make kids? Little dolls, wooden horses, footballs, just like the most basic, boring shit that no kid would want. It's also like in Home Alone 2 when Kevin goes to that toy store in New York. Oh, this is so cool. Look at all this crazy stuff. It's like, I wouldn't want any of that shit. Where are the Star Wars action figures?
True.
But though, now I'm a cynical person, and I hate Star Wars.
Wow.
I love Disney, and I hate Disney, and I love Star Wars, and I hate Star Wars. I'm a very conflicted individual.
From what it sounds like.
So, Mrs. Claus gives the thumb down to the elves' business presentation, and then gets a phone call from Santa, or as she calls him, Papa. Yeah. And Santa's like, the machine is missing. And then the elves over here, and they're like, oh my god. And Mrs. Claus is like, all right, well, I'm sure you'll find it here. I'll send some elves down your way, your best elves, or something like that. And then she says...
But he doesn't get the best.
She says, well, maybe I should let Telejohn say, because he loves to say Papa. She's like, bye, Papa. Bye, Papa. And then she does like a kissing noise. And that creates another question, which is Santa Claus. Well, I guess I don't know if I've seen the new Disney Plus Christmas movie where it seems to show that maybe Santa has like children or something, but Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus don't have children, so I don't think they're having sex. So I should say that I don't think they should be allowed to be like sexually cute with one another. That's not right. I don't want that in my Christmas movie. I don't want to think about Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus fucking.
Boning.
No, thank
Bone Town. USA.
I don't need that, Disney. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh my god.
You're
Leave Santa alone.
That's a beloved mascot for the Coca-Cola company that you're turning into some sexual fiend. He's better than all of us. He's not held down by the sins and vices of humankind.
Maybe Santa's asexual.
Santa is God.
Wow.
Santa is a supernatural being. Or if he does have sex, it has to be like something weird, like an Avatar where they connect their hair together or whatever.
Oh,
I don't even want to know what Santa does, though. You know, he's got a big sack. That's all I'm saying. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag. Christmas is here again.
Kris Kringle, jingle jingle.
My dad got a mug from somebody he worked with, and on the side it said "Jingle Juice."
Oh, I saw your picture. Yes, follow Lucas on Snapchat.
No, we're not plugging.
We're so off track right now.
But yeah, no, not a good branding. So the elves are talking to Mrs. Claus afterwards, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go help Santa." And Mrs. Claus is like, "Okay, how about you take some reindeer?" And she says, "How about Prancer and Vixen? They don't get out much."
What does that mean?
Exactly. Everybody, well, I don't know all the names. I can't always recite them, but Santa has all of his...
Comet and Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
You know, and the most wonderful reindeer of all,
Rudolph.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Dylan. You know, he says all of their names, and they are apparently all needed to lift up his sleigh, so they should all get out equally. Or if, I don't know, they're taking like day trips, or like, I don't understand if other elves are taking them.
Hard to get to Los Angeles.
That's a very good question.
Papa.
If we don't see like any like, you know, a couple of reindeer he took or anything.
No.
But Sparky apparently is afraid of reindeer. One of them bit him once, and I'm like, is that how he got the scar? But no, they didn't write it into the movie or anything.
Should have.
But then they reveal one of their other inventions, because again, they're very entrepreneurial, which is, they call it the SUV, and I think it's like a Santa utility vehicle.
But it's like a...
It's some kind of flying
Corvette,
vehicle.
Or it's not a Corvette, or I don't know.
It looks a little bit sports car-y.
Yeah.
And then, they're flying away.
And it's very tiny.
Yes, it's very tiny, and we'll see what that's like for them. But yeah, back in LA, as I had mentioned, Allie had put the machine out earlier in the day on her like little flower basket, and then it was starting to snow.
Yeah.
And then it's really snowing, then everybody in Allie's neighborhood is just popping off, they're marking out because, hey, you know, I'd probably be losing my shit if I lived in LA. With snow. Joey's running out there, and what do you think he does? Of course, he's gotta try to eat it.
You gotta taste the snow.
What's it like? So
he's sticking out his
tongue.
tongue.
Is the scene where he visibly seems to wipe spit or drool off of his face. And then in the sky, they must be close to LA, but they don't seem to be like affected by the weather too much. No. We see the elves.
Yeah. And
it's so weird because the SUV, I guess, is Santa sized, because we do see them by Santa, and they're much bigger than Santa.
Yeah.
But they're sitting in it, and they're like kids.
Their legs are like up to like their bodies.
Yeah.
Because they can't fit.
It's like if a human sat inside what we would imagine an like elf-sized sleigh or whatever to be. So I just didn't understand I still don't think it would really even fit Santa.
Probably not.
But it runs out of gas in midair. This magical thing made by the elves.
Why
that
couldn't
runs
it
on
run off
gas.
of like Believe, the children's belief in Santa Claus?
Belief in flying cars.
Like an elf.
We need the kids to clap if they believe. But yes, they fall out of the sky. And then early on in this movie, we get a lot of cuts between the different things happening, the different players. And now we're cutting back to Edwin, the newsman.
Yeah.
Who's giving a newscast saying what the weather is. And he's like, it's fucking hot and sunny for 5 days. Fuck California or whatever. And then a guy runs up to him with the piece of paper, and then it's a special news bulletin. And clearly on the paper it's saying that there's a fucking snowstorm happening.
He reads and he's like, that's not possible, and he crumples it up.
Yes, he doesn't believe it. He crumples up the paper, throws it away, and he's kind of throwing a fit, and we get a really funny, just deadpan look from his co-anchors, or the main anchors, as they're just looking at the producer being like, what the fuck is happening? And I don't know if it was intended to really be funny, but it felt very like Office awkward kind of, you know.
Because he kept doing it. I think he threw it away 3 times.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times. And eventually he's like, shit, I guess snow. So then he immediately gets on the case where he's like, this is obviously fucking not right because this is LA. So he's trying to track the storm. But then he gets called away from his computer
by his boss, or
to go talk to the station head, who is chewing him out because he's like, you're fucking terrible, you don't smile, why don't you smile, you're on the news, you're boring as fuck. And then he says, hey, I should fire you, but I only haven't fired you because
of your sister
Belinda.
And they do a pan over to a picture of the head dude and the sister, but the sister is Edwin without glasses and a wig on.
Yes, it is very weird.
And he's getting kissed.
Yeah.
He's kissing.
Well, I'm not saying that. It's weird.
Well, it's just
so
weird.
odd for, it's just a weird, it's like a funny joke, but like, it doesn't really make sense in the rest of the movie. We don't see her. It just seems also like a weird throwaway joke in a DCOM, but.
Thing for maybe the adults, because kids aren't going to realize that. Kids aren't going to
Jacob didn't. I had to point it out and then rewind it to him. So then this news head is like, hey, I'll give you one more chance. Get like a really fucking good story. Get out there, smile or whatever. He's like, get some celebrity news about how the snowstorms affect.
And he does. He gets some celebrity news too.
Or whatever. The storm, again, is highly localized to Allie's bedroom and also a little bit outside of her room. And then that's the thing is about the machine. When they first use it, it's localized and only like creates a cloud in the room. But then I guess it must adapt to the space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it's kind of an interesting thing.
So but I mean, it's not just...
It doesn't make sense how the machine works at all, but it's magic.
Fair. It turns off and on at random times.
Yeah, it's magic, but at the same time, it is based on electricity, and it needs to be fixed at one point.
Batteries, it needs some batteries.
Yeah. So then, it's the next morning, they open up the windows. They hear on the news that it's a snow day, and there's just snow everywhere.
They go through all the lists of schools, and they've gone through like all the schools. And they're like, oh, they're all bummed because their school ended up in name, and then the anchor just keeps looking.
We know the name of their school anyway.
Yeah, but because they're looking sad, and then they're like, oh, it looks like I missed one here, and then they say their school, and then fuck yeah, Joey's like, he's
Joey seems his hair trigger away from losing his mind and going into a fit.
He head dives into a pile of snow outside.
Yeah, you get anything you want from a snow day montage. Snowball fights, shoveling, snow angels, a convertible filled with people in snow just driving by. Everybody's having a great time. It's exciting for them.
Yeah.
But it's not exciting for the mom, who is still working on her catering orders and is still getting calls about them. People aren't canceling yet, but she gets another call from Dad, who is stranded at the airport. Womp, womp, womp. Back with the elves, they finally eventually meet up with Santa, who is outside of his cabin kind of freaking out because it's snowing in LA.
Yeah.
And he also is disappointed that the elves are the two elves that we know that are sent there and not his actually good elves.
Yeah.
So he kind of throws a bit of a fit that it's Sparky and Crumpet and not Fiona, and I don't even know who the other person was.
We never meet him. It don't matter.
He's investigating, looking around for where the machine could have been, because he's like, oh, I thought I threw it away. They're looking around the garbage cans, and they come across a shoe print that they did reasonably set up that there was like a can that was taken off the garbage or fell down to cover up one of Allie's footprints, so it wouldn't get covered up by snow. So
good thinking.
Yeah,
good thinking.
Attention to detail there. Luckily, Santa has both an encyclopedic knowledge of shoes, and who had asked for this style of shoes the year before because the elves use like a computer system to model the shoe, but Santa's like, no, I already know what this fucking shoe is gonna be. Santa definitely has the autocomplete on his computer. Yeah, that just says type in somebody's name and then the next autocomplete will be feet afterwards. But Santa knows who asked for these shoes as well as he should, all the people on the naughty list. So he decides with the elves that they're gonna cross-reference
in the LA area, and what did it come out to be like? Was it 9,000 or just 1,000?
I thought it was like 1,900, maybe.
Yeah, it was quite a few that we're gonna have to check with.
Yeah, they're starting with the because he knew everybody, but he's assuming that hey, whoever asked for these shoes that got on before, but then stole my fucking weather machine, they're probably going to be on the naughty list this year, which. I don't know. Santa seems to have very intimate knowledge of some of the characters in this movie later on, and obviously seems to, as some of the stories go, have omniscient abilities where he knows all. So shouldn't he have just known who stole his thing already? Or are we supposed to think that Santa just has...
At the end of the movie, yes. We should believe that we would know.
Yeah.
No, so, you don't spoil that.
You don't want to think too much, but... Then we get a sick montage where it first starts off with kind of Christmas rock music playing, and Santa's walking in front of the elves. Yeah. He's wearing sunglasses. The elves are wearing sunglasses. This very music video moment of walking slowly towards the camera, a bit of slow-mo, arms swinging kind of stuff. And it's just a montage of them busting naughty girls. And I didn't mean the
catching. Let's use the word catching.
Nope.
They're catching them in the act. They're not busting on the naughty girl.
I didn't say busting on. They're just busting naughty girls.
Yeah.
So then we see, we get 3 girls. One is hitting snowmen in the park with a baseball bat.
Yeah, and one of them she misses.
Yeah, the first one she hits, just a glancing blow, doesn't really obliterate the head. She gets the other one, and they're probably just like, fuck it, that's fine. We don't want to have to make another snowman or anything. Another girl is whipping snow-covered branches at couples walking by, and they don't seem that worried about it.
No.
And then Santa, the other girl, I think it was sneaking a chocolate or a cookie or something. She seemed the least naughty, but that was the one that Santa, within her house, teleports behind her, and is like, where are the drugs coming from? Swear to me.
Oh my God.
So Santa got the girl in the house. The elves got the other 2 girls, and they're all like, we didn't do it. And they're like, all right. Santa teleports out.
1,897 to go.
Yeah, so I would have liked to see the entire movie of them.
Oh my God.
Surprising young girls that like, hey, Santa's real, and I know fucking everything about you, and I'm always watching you.
Literally.
You got any tip-offs for any other naughty girls that could have stolen something? So we'll see what the fruits of their labors maybe will produce later on. But then we see back at home that Mom is telling Allie and Joey the sad news that Dad is stuck in San Francisco on his business trip and that he won't be home for Christmas because the storm has seemed to move to San Francisco, which it doesn't really
It's going all over the place.
It could just be... Because if there's a massive snowstorm happening in LA, it's not like places are going to fly
him in. Exactly.
But hey,
it is what it is.
It was hitting home more that Allie has created a situation that has gotten vastly out of control.
Yeah, then she
done fucked up. But the girls, because Samantha's still here hearing about this sad news, rush up to try to turn off the machine, and it seems like they do, but
clearly
we'll learn later on that they didn't, and it doesn't really make sense. But then we get a really unnecessary plot detail from Sam where Allie's like, oh, isn't it so sad that my dad's going to be gone? And then she turns to Sam, and Sam just looks so sad, and she says,
weeping.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam, I didn't know. And then Sam's like, it's not a big deal that my dad died when I was 3 years old. And she says it starts off so matter-of-factly, but then it gets, legitimately somewhat emotional. Because she's like, oh, my mom always says Dad's favorite time of year was Christmas, and he'd play Christmas music during Halloween, and he was actually a bit obnoxious, and not a lot of people liked him, and I think that's why we think he got killed by somebody.
Oh my God.
But, and then she sheds a tear that may be real, may be fake, but,
it looks like a real tear.
It was all a decent scene, but also like, why does this need to be in this movie? It's just like, hey, we don't want to cast Sam's dad as somebody. We just want to have her mom, so let's
save money. We kill a parent. And that happens like so many Disney movies where there's only like a one parent deal.
Yeah, there always has to be an explanation for why somebody doesn't have a perfect nuclear family of a mom and a dad. It's either a divorce or, a death in a surfing accident or a horse accident. Which this was, presumably a Christmas accident for Sam if we're following DCOM logic and tropes.
True.
So then, I don't know, Sam must have left because then we get a nice just family scene between Mom, Joey, and the kids where the kids are like, hey, Mom, we decorated a cactus because you suck and haven't gotten us a Christmas tree yet.
True.
But also that, hey, nobody can probably get anything in LA. Except for Mom's catering assistant.
He can
always
anywhere.
Get the supplies and always gets to her house fine.
Yes.
And then they roast marshmallows over the fire. The mom's like, haha, I got one better thing. And I'm like, is this a Christmas thing in California or something?
I had never heard of it or seen it.
Also, it's something because they're roasting them on their fireplace in their house. It's like, they could do this anytime. But
dangerous.
Joey, of course, really likes it.
Later we see him finishing off the bag of unused marshmallows.
Yeah, no, we don't. We don't want to be too mean to Joey.
Off camera, he finishes off the bag of marshmallows.
So that night, we then see the machine, which, again, seemed to have been switched off by the girls, then switch itself back on or starts turning up the turbines or whatever, and then it starts snowing again. And
yes, so this happens in the middle of the night, so yeah, she falls asleep not knowing that.
So we're supposed to presume that they did something that they thought turned it off, and this somehow just coincides either with it just had powered itself off and then back on, or it just is such a convenience and coincidence. Yeah. She wakes up the next morning, Allie that is, tries to turn it off, she can't, so it's just like, why even add the scene? I guess they wanted us to have like a nice little relaxed moment before things kept coming out bad.
Yeah.
But it was just a little... The machine, of course, again, makes absolutely no sense how it works or how it even functions, really. So then at the news station, we start to hear from like Edwin that it's been like 14 inches. I think it was even 14 inches like the day before. And then it's increasing in amount. So quite literally, this is clearly written by somebody who does not have a ton of experience with snow because 14 inches.
That's a lot of snow.
In a Minnesota town that can still probably, because 14 inches over a day would have been, that's going to grind most operations to a halt. And that's in a place that is prepared for snow.
And I don't know.
As opposed to LA where
this doesn't have...
It doesn't get snow.
Snow plows?
Yeah. The shovels they use are like garden shovels and not snow shovels. So, and as they're getting more snow, this movie really should eventually just turn into Krampus, where there's this supernatural snowstorm that should just be cutting off people from anybody else outside of their house. But nothing that dramatic quite happens. Let's see. And then Edwin, this is where he does something on his computer where he
collected some snow. Right?
Oh yes, I completely forgot about that.
And he drops it into like a beaker
of like
blue weird blue liquid, and then he's like, interesting, and it like does all these calculations. He's like, oh, it's from this street, it's from this house.
Yeah, science shit. So his computer has given him the actual exact home address of Allie's house. That the storm is coming from here. So I don't know if he already like assumed somebody had a weather machine, or because he's just like, exactly, and he's not like, that's weird. So the kids then get told by mom again that for real this time, not just dad isn't coming for Christmas, but aunt and uncle, who Joey's happy because the uncle always smokes cigars and probably like diddles him at night or something.
Oh my.
But then also grandma and grandpa aren't coming, and Joey's not happy about them because probably grandma and grandpa give great
best
presents.
Gifts. Exactly.
The ultimate Christmas presents. So again, the kids are sad. Allie goes up to try and fix the machine. I think this is, Samantha's here. But Joey has already snuck up there. And we see, as the girls are going into the room, we see Joey at the window trying to climb out. And it's like, is Joey going to jump?
Oh
is he killing himself because dad's not going to be home for Christmas? He's not going to get what would it be? Probably, he could have gotten, 2000 might have been like a PS2 from like Grandma and Grandpa or something.
Okay.
Maybe
Nintendo.
an N64.
No, way too soon for Nintendo.
Not quite DS, but no, what Joey is doing is he thinks his present is the weather machine, and he sees it outside.
Yes.
So he's like, Joey's not the smartest.
No.
But he thinks that Allie has stashed his present away. I guess he did set up that he's usually very good at finding Christmas presents, so maybe.
He's always climbing out and looking in the flower.
But they pull him back in. It's like, hey, no, that's not for you. You have to leave that alone. And then Joey's just like, yeah, he's very like, we don't know how to make you exit scenes, so how about you just get very mad and
upset,
swing your arms very quickly back and forth and walk away. Then the power goes out, so the girls head out to the garage because they know that there's going to be some flashlights out there. But the lights are off in the garage. They're kind of fumbling around. We hear, what is that, like a man's voice? And then the lights turn on, and then we get one of those fun scenes of everybody screaming. And then we also see the elves are there. They're screaming, and Santa's screaming. We all scream for the ultimate Christmas present.
I scream.
So Santa tells the girls, or I think he just tells Allie specifically, he's like, hey, we know what's up. Allie, by the way, you're on the naughty list. And Allie just makes a face at him like, I don't give a fuck. Also, Allie kind of tries to play it cool. It's like, I don't believe you. Santa's like, oh yeah? Because he lists off a bunch of stuff about, like, hey, you like Blake, your favorite toppings on pizza are pepperoni and cheese. And then he tries to prove it to her by saying like, hey, Samantha, you listen to Ricky Martin music and dance in your room and pretend you're married to Ricky Martin. And she's like, oh my God, Santa, stop. And then Allie makes fun of her. And then Santa's like, hey, Allie, you like to think that you have the perfect home life and you like to give that outward appearance to people. But actually, you're hiding a secret that your family is extremely dysfunctional and everybody's running around at their own pace and nobody's together and you wish they really were.
True.
And then Samantha goes, Allie, you never told me that.
Caught.
And then, again, it's like, yeah, that seems to be like a fair message or theme in this movie for Allie's family. But then it just seems so much weird that we have to have two depressing moments between Allie's family and then learning that Samantha's dad died when she was 3 years old. So now they're convinced that, yes, this is actually Santa Claus in front of us.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Edwin the weatherman... who is
Weatherman?
You know,
Weatherman.
I'm just trying to have fun.
Okay.
What, you're gonna tell me it's not the Amazing Spider-Man now?
Oh my God. Okay, moving on.
But Edwin had commandeered a snowmobile.
Yeah.
His car got stuck in the snow.
And where did the snowmobile come from?
A guy was just driving it down the street and
had it stored for a snowy day.
He's like, I'm an investigative weatherman. I need your snowmobile. Okay, sure, whatever. So he
pushes the dude off.
Arrives at the house, knocks at the door, and the mom answers it. And he's like, "Don't you know who I am?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Hey, I'm on TV." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, sure. Do you want to come in or something?"
And he's like, what did he said? You won like an afternoon with Edwin or something?
Oh, okay, yeah. He makes up some contest.
And she's like, I don't remember entering that.
So Edwin comes in and he starts to investigate, and Mom's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, kind of making excuses, asking her questions about, oh, is this your husband? What does he do? Is he like work for the government?"
Yeah.
And then she offers him some coffee. And then he also just asks for a bunch of other stuff. He's like, and this was kind of funny. He's like, some cookies, some candy, some popcorn, maybe like a pot roast, yams. You got yams. All for the intended goal of her being distracted so he can search the house uninterrupted. So back in the garage, unaware that Edwin is there, the girls explain to Santa what happened. Oh, they took the machine. We're so sorry. Santa explains why the fuck he was in LA, which is pretty dumb, that he had come down from the North Pole because it was like too noisy up there.
Yeah.
Does not explain how he came down. So again, he did not take Reindeer. He did not take the SUV
car thing, yeah.
Don't worry about it. And he says, "Hey, this machine, I just wanted to give everyone the ultimate Christmas present."
But
turn to the camera and wink. And that the ultimate Christmas present would be to provide a beautiful white
light, a light snowfall.
Yeah, a nice, the picturesque movie style snow for everybody. So everybody would just take a moment to appreciate it. Maybe things would slow down because you can't go everywhere. You just spend time with family.
Yeah.
Okay, then why the earthquake setting, Santa?
Earthquake and lightning and
what are you doing?
Tsunami
Santa?
And tornadoes. Like, what is this?
I think it's just a cover. He's like, "Oh, you found my evil weather machine." Yes, I just wanted people to have a nice Christmas. I am Santa, not, "Oh, what's that? You're rearranging the letters of my name?" Yes, I am Satan.
Maybe what he was doing is, maybe throughout the year he's
this
making
is actually
all this...
Krampus. This is the evil Santa.
I would say maybe throughout the year he's making all this bad weather happen so people appreciate winter more and can appreciate Christmas more and Santa more.
Santa's going to cause the big one in LA to make it drop off into the ocean because they just don't appreciate weather enough. So Edwin goes into Allie's room and finds Joey in there who had snuck in. He's
sitting on the floor with the machine, like maybe
which now screaming. The machine is still making his snow outside, but also
and
within
inside,
Allie's room.
There's a cloud above him.
And Joey's got to look like he's like frozen to it. Who are you, man? And then Edwin tells him that he needs to give him the machine.
You're a bad boy. You're a naughty boy. Give me it.
You're gonna go to jail because you stole that from somebody. So he literally leaves the scene. Joey, that is, and goes, "Ah!" He swings his arms again, runs downstairs to yell at his mom that this guy has threatened him with jail time.
Yes.
And Mom's like, "What the fuck?" Then the Santa put some respect on him. The Santa. As well as the elves and the girls all sneak into the house. I don't even think they really need to distract the mom that much, but they do play ding dong ditch with the mom. Luckily, I guess their doorbell still functions without power. And then they find Edwin as he's leaving. He's trying to go down the steps with the machine. And then he turns around, runs upstairs, and jumps through the window it doesn't quite jump, but he climbs outside of the window and then falls outside of Allie's room. And then as the rest of the crew is running downstairs to catch up with him, he escapes on his snowmobile.
Yeah.
And this probably would have been beyond the budget of this movie, but they could have had a fun reindeer sleigh chase with Edwin on the snowmobile.
That would have been
But
good.
No, it's pretty abbreviated. He drives past the guy that he had stole the snowmobile from, and then crashes it into the wooden door, big garage door of a candy factory, and then crashes into something that makes him fly off of the snowmobile into a giant vat of chocolate.
Yes.
Melted chocolate. Which to stay in a liquid form
would have had to been hot.
Probably has to be a little warm.
So he's scalding. His skin is burning with chocolate melting.
But he's pretty chill about it. It must just be, it's just chocolate pudding. It's the snack pack factor.
Oh, possibly.
But he is able to keep the egg outside of the chocolate. It doesn't fully go in.
It gets dirty.
Well, yeah, it does eventually get dirty. Santa and the kids and the elves catch up, and they follow him, or they see the snowmobile wrecked, and then they see the vat of chocolate, which is this, covered with handprints, but their handprints, they're not facing the right way. They're facing as if somebody just went up and put their handprint on the side of it.
Upside down, like he was climbing out.
Yeah. It's kind of confusing to say, like, the right side of your handprints, but you either know what we mean or you don't know what you mean. And either way, we're going to move on.
As they're peering into the room, of course, you have the man that owned the snowmobile kind of just creepily make a little appearance.
He's like, Santa, can I get my snowmobile back? No. You have also been I've seen your internet searches. But then they see some chocolatey footprints.
Yes, but there's no drip with it, which, in a few minutes you should...
if you're somebody who's gotten covered in chocolate, you're dripping. You know that you're going to be dripping.
But there's just perfect footprints. No drip.
No drip. And then eventually, as you just said, there is dripping because one of the elves is getting dripped on from up above, and he's licking it off of his hand.
It's raining chocolate.
You're so silly. Yep,
Santa's
chocolate rain.
What are you doing? Stay dry and others feel the pain.
Excuse me as I turn away from the microphone to breathe. Something we don't follow on this show at all. But again, hey, I try to edit around. But then, it's like a walkway with the ladder leading up to it, and Edwin's up there with the machine and like a giant candy cane. And at this point, he just seems deranged. He's not the fun, awkward guy I thought he was going to be at the beginning of the movie. He's somehow the villain of this movie.
Yeah, he turns into a real prick.
I think he just is worried about losing his job, I guess. So he wants to have this great story of revealing about the weather machine. So that's why he doesn't want to give it up. Because he probably could be like, hey, is that guy Santa Claus?
Yeah.
But he doesn't really put that together. And then with the candy cane, as there's an elf climbing up to reach up to him, he hooks onto some kind of hook and chain. And again, we can say, hey, you guys, as he swings around, but then he falls off. At first, he drops the machine. Allie catches it in a spectacular fashion. And then he falls into, this time, a box or something of cotton candy. So now he is tar and feathered, if you will, but rather chocolated and cotton candy. They collect Edwin and the machine, and they head back to Santa's cabin, which seems like not the best place to try to get to during the snowstorm, but hey, he's got the tools there. So Santa fixes the machine, but then it doesn't seem to work.
No.
And then Allie, having to be the protagonist and has to be smarter than Santa, says, hey, have you checked the batteries? And Santa did not use his normal brand of batteries, which apparently last 100 years and are manufactured in special plastic packaging at the North Pole.
Wow.
Which,
convenient.
Can't be that good of a business model if they last 100 years. You got to have that repeat.
True.
That's why nothing lasts anymore. Is because then you need people to buy it. Huh?
True.
Yeah. It's easy, Grandpa. So then they fix the machine. They crank it on up to 58 degrees, and then they don't quite be like, and the snow's just immediately melting. At least they got
causing
that
a flash flood.
It's not like a speed up video of somebody putting like a heat lamp on a pile of snow.
That'd be so much water.
Yeah, no, it would create a different problem. Though, I mean, we saw how arid LA was.
It would just soak into the dry.
They're probably worried about mudslides now. They do talk about mudslides at one point in the movie.
Mention the mudslides.
So Santa's like, fuck, it's Christmas. I gotta get out there and deliver presents. But first stops and tells Allie, by the way, you are still on the naughty list.
Yes.
You're not getting anything this year, but here's how you can get off of it. And he tells her stuff like, hey, be responsible, blah, blah, blah. But really it's like, hey, don't steal shit.
True.
Just don't do that. And I'll let you get a Game Boy or something. And then Santa goes over and gives Edwin a pep talk. He's like, Edwin, I know you from when you were a kid. All you wanted to be was a weatherman.
Weatherman.
Because when it's a single word, you don't, I think I'm in the right. Maybe I'm in the wrong.
No big deal.
Edwin's like, yeah, when kids were playing, all I wanted to be was a meteorologist.
Yeah.
And Santa's like, hey, you need to stop being bad too and stealing shit. And I maybe got a job for you. Ooh, what could that be? We'll see very shortly.
Yes.
And then last but not least, before Santa goes, Allie, being shitty, already knowing that she's on the naughty list, she's like, well, can I have a favor, even though I may be the worst girl of the year? And what could that favor be? Well, we'll see in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
Then it's Christmas morning back at Allie's house. Alley Cat striking it back.
Oh,
I don't know. That just popped into my head. There's no presents. They don't have the tree. They still just have the cactus tree. Yeah. But most importantly, there's no dad.
But they have each other, Lucas.
Yeah.
They have each other.
I think the power's on, so at least they have heat, maybe.
Yeah, that too.
Maybe not. And then they're kind of talking. It's like, well, this is fine, just us. But then there's a card that we see blink into existence on the tree. Allie picks it up and reads, "Your present should be arriving soon." And it's kind of like a postcard.
You hear Grandpa. You hear Santa like
Grandpa's here.
You hear Santa whispering, "And your present should arrive." And then she opens it now, and then you hear the and hear the horn.
And everybody's like, "Fucking keep it down! It's Christmas morning. I'm trying to sleep." But they look out the window. Oh my God! It's Dad coming out of a Jeep. We see the windows come down of the Jeep, that it's the elves that had dropped off Daddy. And then Allie's like, "Oh, this is so nice. The family's gathered up." And then Allie says, "You know what? This is the real ultimate Christmas present."
Wow.
Or she says,
two name drops.
It's maybe not quite like that.
It's something about ultimate Christmas present.
No, I'm saying, she doesn't say this is the real ultimate Christmas present. She's like, this is the ultimate Christmas present. Yeah. Which it's supposed to imply that Santa's wasn't the real one. Again, man. He's an evil weather mastermind, and that this is the better ultimate Christmas present. You know, it's all
family.
It's all about
Allie.
All. And Allie's family. Samantha, sorry, your dad dead. You basic.
True. Why didn't she wish for her father back?
Get over it. You were 3 years old. You're 14 now.
Oh my.
And then we get a kind of probably a crane shot, some kind of flying away shot of the family all celebrating out in the snow. And then it cuts to a television where Santa Claus is watching this scene unfold.
He'll see you when you're sleeping.
Does he have drones?
He knows when you're awake.
Yes,
he knows if you've been bad or good. So he's going to creep on you forever and ever.
You better watch out. You better watch out.
You better watch out.
You better watch out. But then it's supposed to be a fun image of the TV screen, and we get an image of Santa superimposed across it.
Call back to we'd kind of alluded to, but like he should have known right then and there. He could have went to the footage to see who stole the machine.
Santa somewhere at his workshop should have a wall of television screens, like Adrian Veidt in Watchmen or the architect in The Matrix, where he's just watching all these kids, and then the screens are always flicking over in like 3 to 5 seconds to some other kid, and he's just absorbing all of the knowledge.
That would have been so good.
But yeah, we see just the single television. He's watching it with Mrs. Claus as they're like, I don't know, doing something under the shirt. Hey, I don't want to know about it.
Polishing off the candy cane.
Yeah, then we see the image of the TV, and then we see a bit of a fade-in superimposition of Santa's face across it, and his eye twinkles, and it's supposed to be like a fun thing, but it comes off as terrifying.
That's creepy.
Very big brother.
Because it just stays on his face as the fade out.
Yeah.
It's just his face in the fade.
But then we need to check in one last time with Edwin. Where is he? Well, Santa, I guess it doesn't say when or maybe, I can't remember if it says where it is.
Antarctica, I think it is.
I meant to say when it is.
Yeah.
Like, did Santa just like drop him off as he's delivering presents? But he is at, the South Pole, some research center. He's teaching a class to some researchers down there about weather.
Look very similar to him. They are his type.
Yes,
they are his people.
Revenge of the Nerds type casting.
Glasses, big glasses, and a wide open mouth.
Yeah, mouths open, breathing. Wow, isn't this great? It's like, I guess, well, I would say most of what you're doing at the South Pole is probably some kind of weather research or something. So like, what is this no-name fucking literal Who weatherman coming down here to tell us what our business is? But hey, they're happy. This is the ultimate Christmas present.
But
and then I think, because they can't have that be the final shot of the movie, they cut back to the family celebrating one more time, and then that's the end of the movie. We get some kind of Jingle Bell rock, but not the one you want at the end as the credits music. No. And this was the ultimate Christmas present. But nope. That was the ultimate Christmas present.
That was.
So, final judgments or thoughts on the ultimate Christmas present, Jacob?
Oh, man. Trying to think of like some negative things to say for once, but
I'd say their treatment of snow is not realistic all the time, but That can be said about most movies.
When the cars are sitting in traffic, Lucas had said when we were watching it, you couldn't really see any like track marks from the tires.
You don't see any puffs of somebody's breath. So
At one point when the mom opens the door, it looks like stuff, but it looks like she's like literally getting like the paper or whatever they're using like in her eyes that she's like brushing away. Other than
Are you gonna watch this every year at Christmas time now?
Might have to.
Is this what you're giving to your parents this year? Hey, Mom and Dad, I've heard this is the ultimate Christmas present. A subscription to Disney Plus.
Oh, man.
I could have a bit of a side here where I'm saying, you know what, Disney Plus? You could be better. As far as the video quality. At least on the PS4, which is how we watch it.
Yes.
There's visual hitches, like
when
little video stutters. Well, the rewinding, but even just as it plays, it'll sometimes like hitch up for like a second. And there's been multiple updates. Hasn't been fixed yet. So, hey, you accuse us of being Disney shills, maybe? And also, like, the offering of stuff isn't that great. I was watching The Nightmare Before Christmas because I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
Though I'm not like a weird Hot Topic fanboy or anything.
Yes.
Or probably fangirl, more likely.
Ooh.
And that's what I watch when I wrap Christmas presents. And I have the movie on Blu-ray, and I'm like, well, should I get it? Because the streaming quality for it wasn't that great.
Huh.
And then somebody came home and they were kind of using up some of the bandwidth. And then, like,
it really got
I don't know, like, if, weird stuff with, like, our internet. It would literally, like, stop playing. Like, the audio would continue and then it would, like, not play. And then, like, it would catch up.
So maybe it's just something with your connection rather than...
I don't know. I think a lot of streaming services like Netflix do take into account that stuff. And, you know, they buffer up further ahead. So, just the way they work. I'm just saying Disney could be improving. The biggest or one of the biggest media companies in the world could have a better...
Stop being so cheap, Disney. Pay your employees.
Well, it is cheap. It's only $7.99, and I got it even cheaper for buying 3 years up front. But, it's an older animated movie, so the visual quality isn't the most apparent thing, but it would have looked better if I probably even put my DVD copy of it. Because I have it on DVD and Blu-ray. So... When I'm wrapping presents...
Not of an ultimate Christmas... when you said that, I was like, you have the ultimate Christmas present on DVD and Blu-ray?
I'm giving it to all of my family members this year. I am winning Christmas. But at least with that, I was wrapping presents. I'm mostly just listening to it for the music anyways, which was fine because that's almost all I could get at times because the video was not progressing along with the audio. I kind of cut you off with that, but I'll agree... that I think
not much to complain about. I mean, I'm glad they got rid of Blake. They kind of
very.
I mean, you could argue, left some loose ends, but not really. We don't need him.
One interesting thing they could have done with that is have her be for a moment like more upset that she couldn't go to Blake's party than her dad being stranded or something like that.
If we weren't taking notes, if we weren't doing this, we wouldn't even remember Blake at all in that whole situation. I don't think.
I probably still would have laughed. Because it's just like, oh, Blake is so cool. This is Blake.
Yes, he was a very
I'm pretty sure at that age I looked cooler than Blake.
He was like a foot
He also looked
shorter.
younger than them.
Yes, he was like a foot shorter than these girls.
Yeah, if he was the same age as them, he was, I mean, hey, everybody grows, but he was a manlet at that age.
Yes,
I didn't take notes previous to watching this movie, so I wasn't giving it my full attention, but it's 80 minutes long. It's not a full 90 like some DCOMs. Pretty breezy, has a few intersecting plots that work pretty well. Decent message at the end, which is always good in a Christmas movie. Is
like decent messages.
Making it be something about like the spirit of Christmas, which is why, maybe controversial, but probably not because a bunch of annoying people say this all the time. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie because Christmas is just a setting for the movie. I don't care if he says... ho, 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 or whatever. It's not a Christmas movie, really. But, there's lots of bad Christmas movies out there. There's a billion Lifetime Christmas movies, and the worst Christmas movie of all time, Jingle All the Way. And
it's a great movie.
I don't know if I'll watch the ultimate Christmas present every year, but I would always watch it before Jingle All the Way. I actually bought that for my brother on DVD one year.
And he loved it.
Well, he at least tried to say he liked it. I bought it for him knowing it was a bad movie. And it's like, he liked it. And it's like, okay, sure. I'll show him by buying him the movie. And then one year, probably the year after or whatever, it was a family time. And it's like, oh, let's all watch a Christmas movie together. And they're like, Lucas,
Jingle
you pick.
All the Way.
And I don't know. I was in a bad mood or something.
Wow,
so I picked
Scrooge.
Jingle All the Way. And everybody besides my brother was like, why did we watch that? The movie was so bad. And I'm like, that's what you get for making me spend time with the family. Now, as we're closing this podcast, hopefully for you to spend time with your family, or maybe this podcast gave you a bit of a respite of spending time with your family.
Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Yeah. And
your follows
show your
and your likes and your
more.
subscriptions
Yes.
and your comments and your emails and your donations.
Yeah, well, Jacob's cutting into my whole spiel now. But yes, if you want to send in your season greetings or what have you, you can email us at awholenewpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at awholenewpod. Jacob tweeted for the first time in probably like 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's a Christmas marathon. It's the ultimate Christmas present. A tweet from Jacob Telejohn. Rate us if it's possible on your podcast platform of choice.
Yeah.
Specifically, rate us and review us on iTunes. Tell your family and friends during the holidays.
Please do.
Clearly, our joke of saying this was the ultimate Christmas present, this podcast, very good. Very proud of that joke. So use that on your family members, and they'll be like, have you been having some eggnog? I don't know. And then, we're also on Google Podcasts. I don't know if you can actually review us or rate us on there. Follow us on Spotify. And yes, like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell on YouTube.
Yeah, get those notifications going. Come on now.
I mean, it's not any different than if you have a subscription to the podcast, because probably would be updating or notifying you. Yes. But it might notify you to then go to your podcast app to then refresh it, and then you'll have the episode download.
Listen and watch us and like us on every platform, please. Thank you.
I guess, so speak of the platform they can connect with you on.
You can follow me on Twitter at Jacob_Telejohn, JACOB_TELLIJOHN on Twitter for that hot follow back.
And with that, again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
Kwanzaa, New Year,
Festivus if you're Sam Blazing, probably.
Oh my.
Because it's a Seinfeld joke. But yeah, have a good time. Happy New Year's. I don't know. Well, we're definitely not getting another episode out before New Year's, but we might have a bit of a week buffer period. We might take a week off, so we might already get off. Hey, New Year's resolution. Let's not stick to our schedule. But hey, we'll see.
One a month, baby.
It's a brand new year, both in DCOMs and for us in the real world. Yeah. 2020 and 2001. The year of the DCOM.
That's scary.
Not 9/11.
2020, that is scary.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
We're old.
Yep. Is that how we want to end the episode?
Yeah.
The slow realization.
But at least we're not dead.
We're not dead like Sam's dad. And
in the movie, Sam's dad that does the podcast is not dead.
All right. And with that,
dig.
I'll say...
Feliz Navidad.
Da 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 da.
Yes, I should be. Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Aurora Borealis?
Aurora Borealis. At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen.
Yes.
May I see it?
No.